Hello and welcome back to Project ML. I'm going to split this video up into a separate one for fitting a tow bar. So it'll just simply be down as how to fit a tow bar to a Mercedes W163 ML. So again, we've seen us do the electrics. If anybody's watching this video is a separately, if you go back and watch the one for previous to this about fitting the electrics, and I changed the spark plugs as well, it's mixed into that. So if you want to have a look about the electrics, go back to one of my next videos, look through me profile of videos. So, I've just had the world's smallest box delivered, guarded by me dog, for a tow bar. I was expecting something twice that size, you know, your average, but this car's already got the big reinforcement bar on it. So, if you've got one of these cars, if you've got the one with the spare wheel on the back, things are going to be a bit more difficult, because you won't have this bar. This bar here, I don't think the ones with the spare wheel carrier on the back have it. I don't know, it just says when you buy the tow bar, not suitable for ones with the spare wheel on the back. I could be incorrect there, and it might have to be a swan neck one with an extended bar that comes out to not make that your trailer would contact with the spare wheel. I don't know, but it just definitely says that these tow bars are not for the version with the spare wheel on the back. But this car, I've never seen a one. This is military grade, thick steel. On the back of I believe you wouldn't want to run into the back of this car. I mean, look how thick that steel is. It's unbelievable for just a standard road vehicle, I suppose. It's not a proper off-road vehicle. It's got low range. But anyways, this is what we're going to be dealing with. You can see there's the flange there with 4 threaded areas. I believe there'll probably be a square plate to go behind it. We'll have to drop the spare wheel down. Something's going to have to go in behind, something onto there, obviously the hitch, and there's something that's got to be done around the chassis here. I don't know what, but this is why we're going to open the box and find out. I'm not going to record the whole thing in depth. I'm going to do it in stages, otherwise we'll end up having a very long video. I used to get involved with a bit of time-lapse, but I found it was difficult to upload everything, so I've not bothered, because the editing stuff on my phone isn't the best. This is a company I was telling everybody about, TowBar's Direct. Very, very helpful people on the phones. And this is the company's details here, and that address and that phone number. Highly recommend these, because I don't know why, but these companies like PF Jones and I don't know what the other one was called who I dealt with, they're advertising tow bars that are in stock on eBay. I've already had to carry on with Europarts, stating that they've got like 10 in stock and 2 being sold, as you know, as it tells you on eBay. You go to order it and they haven't even got it into stock. And their answer for that is we can't keep the adverts on if we state there's no stock. So why on earth are they putting adverts on anyways if they've got no stock? It's just wasting people's time. So Eurocar Parts totally messed us about. Obviously, because of them lot, I stripped all the back of the car down, expecting to have the tow bar delivered, which never came, and they just randomly sent me money back. PF Jones did exactly the same, took the order, realised they didn't have it in, refunded us back, and then this other company did the same, and these are the only ones who've managed to do it. So, I know a lot of people like to see what's in the box kind of thing. I'm trying my best here with one hand to see which way the box opens. I'll tell you what, I'll just pause out and I'll come straight back in when I get the box open. So then here we go. Just got a bag of cellophane. So here is the tone electrics. You get another good thing with this company is as well, TowBar's Direct. When you buy the tow bar, you forget, when you buy a tow bar, all you get is the tow bar. You don't get a tow ball and you don't get the electrical kit. This company actually gives you a tow ball and the electrical kit free of charge. There's a full kit in there, but as you've seen, I've already wired mine up, so that's good to keep as a spare in case I have any problems with mine. Let's see what else there is. I've just noticed there's obviously a tone ball cap here. That's a nice little extra to have. You know, it's a lot of ones you don't get that with. Oh yes, wait, hold on, I'll get onto here. So there's a whole bag of nuts and bolts and washers. That'll be fun getting all of that into line. What else have we got? I don't know. I'm going to have to obviously open everything up. I'm not going to go through all this. There must just be some... I don't know. Because I can't see through it. This is, I think, one of the side reinforcement bars you put on the chassis. And there's only one left, I think, is there? Oh, no, and that is the TowBar. Believe it or not, that is a TowBar for an ML. That's it. That just goes onto there. And there's obviously reinforcement bits. And something else I want to state with this company. For a little bit extra, I knew I was obviously getting a caravan. So, more than likely it'll have one of those Alco anti-sway. Everybody who's in the caravan and thing will know what I mean. You need a separate tow ball for these towing hitches. I think they sit up slightly higher, they sit further out to stop obviously the big towing hitch coming into contact with the vehicle. Again, I'll show you all this. So we'll get it all opened and I'll get it put into some kind of order on the floor before we start. In fact, while I'm recording, before I open all that, I know we need to get the spare wheel down. So I think that's a good enough angle. Going to put some gloves on and we'll get the spare wheel dropped down, because that's what I think when they go through here. The only thing is I'm noticing is they're threaded, but I think there's got to be some kind of plate behind here. I don't know, but anyways, this spare wheel hasn't been off for a while, so I want it off anyways. I want to get it all freed off the mechanism, so if I'm towing the caravan, oh yes, that will be to come. When I buy a caravan, I'll do some work on the caravan. So naturally, if anybody's interested in fitting a tow bar, you may have a caravan you tow. I'll do a bit of work and maintenance, basic maintenance on a caravan. I don't profess to be any kind of professional, but I'll certainly give my best advice. So, spare wheel on these, dead straightforward. There's a, what size is that? 17mm. Get a little impact onto it. Let it drop down. You see, this car, I've worked on this car since almost brand new. I think it was 2 years old in 2008. And as part of servicing, we check these spares, that they're okay and that we get underneath so there's no corrosion and stuff. We look at that, how nicely that's come off. So all these haters of copper grease and all the rest of it, put it on, you never have no problems. So what you'll find is once that come out, it looks like a little bonnet catch. Take the weight a little bit, just with your thumb, and pull it across, just like a little gate hook, and let that come down there. And then, the wheel's probably stuck to the cage more than likely because it's been on that long. Or I might have to crawl underneath and find out if there's some kind of securing device. There looks to be something on there. I'm not quite sure what that is or what it does. I think the wheel is just caught on something, but to be quite honest, I can get into what I need to get in here. So I'm going to pause, have a little bit faff about, see if that wheel comes off, because I want it off anyways to check the pressure and the condition, and I'll come back to you and I'll get all the bits and bobs out in some kind of organised fashion. Right, a bit of a development. I have to just show this. I'm actually starting to really like this car. I mean, I've always liked it anyways. But as everybody knows, back in the day, the old MLs got some quite bad press. I think at one point they were classed as one of the bottom of the group. But I think that was when you were spending sort of 40, 50, 60,000 pound and you were getting problems and stuff. But this just, everything I've seen to touch has been fantastic design. So obviously, like I mentioned, the wheel is stuck to the carrier. So you do what I've just shown. You drop it down, and it comes down to this height, and then it just slides out, like that. Job done. And then you just simply twist this, I believe, open. There we go. Twist that, and I think now it should be, there we go. Off it comes, out the way. Perfect. Just a good bit of design, that is. You know, if you're down at the back of the car, at the side of the road, broken down. Yeah, so obviously I'm going to clean that wheel up, set the pressure right, oil all this up, these little slides, I'll put some grease on them. But for now, I've got good access to the rest of the chassis underneath and the floor, so that's fantastic with the wheel out the way. So anyways, I'm going to get on now and empty the boxes of bits and bobs that I need. Right, so here we go. Whole load of nuts and bolts, washers, you name it. So, this is the Alco tow ball. just in case anybody wants to know, supposedly they've got a slightly shaved off area here, they're slightly higher, and they come out slightly more. So, but what I've been told, you can still tow regular caravan hitches with them. Again, I'm no expert on towing, so if I'm wrong, I may be wrong. So that's that. Out of the electrics kit, because I've already done the electrics, thankfully, it's got the one with the cutout already in. So that saved me a whole load of hassle. So there we go. There's the electric support. Believe it or not, this is all the tow bar is for this car. Just goes onto there, like that. There you go. But you can't just go putting that onto there, because you need to put some supports in. These go onto the chassis, and there's 2 bolts go through there and through there. And obviously you've got these like shims kind of things, what lock and washers, nuts and bolts. Still got to go through it. I'm just fathoming it out as I go. So first up, I'll be fitting these, and these go. I'll just go and grab a light. Those supports go under here. Goes through the hole there, and then 2 go through there. I'm going to attempt to show you, but I really don't want to smash myself in the face with a heavy piece of iron. But I'll just, for demonstration purposes, I won't have the light this time. I'll show you, but it'll be clearly better to show you when it's fitted. So that goes in there, like that. Shim through, nut and bolt, washer, shim through. 2 at the front there, which poke through the holes. Hit the back. I'll just put this out the way, and I'll show you. Oh, and they go through them. So I'm going to crack on now and start getting a few bits bolted into place, and I'll show you how I get on. I just don't want this video being too long, so I'm just going to do it in sections. Right, quite a lot of head scratching later, going through things, working things out. First thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to stick the bar on, but a little bit of precaution for this. Obviously these threads are pre-threaded from the factory, so they've been on since the car's been new. So obviously, as you can see, all the nuts and bolts, I've copper greased them up. I don't care if anybody's got any opinions. Like I've mentioned, I use copper grease and it works. And for things like this, it's perfect. If you ever, for whatever reason, need to remove it, you can. So anyways, what I want to do before trying to actually fit the tow bar, I've sprayed a bit of grease in there. These are all pre-copper greased up. Just going to put them in. And just gently take them up. Because obviously once you've got it on, it'll be more fiddly. I should have done this without dog hairs everywhere, but it's not going to do no harm. And with these, all I'm going to do is with the gun, if you bear with us a moment, I'm just going to switch it over. What I'm going to do is just take them into the max and then back out again, just in case the threads are getting a bit tight from not being used. You don't need to go mad with them. As you can see, they will get a little bit tight. You just got to work them in and out a few times. This is just a little baby gun, by the way, for this. I'll be using the bigger one to tighten them. So now they've gone in, I'm just going to put my hand up around the back and feel it, and then wind them back out again. And all you're doing is you're just cleaning up the threads, so when you come to fit the bar, you're giving yourself less of a challenge, you know, like having to wind, you'll be fighting against the dirt and all the threads. You're just cleaning up the threads, getting some grease into them. Then when you come to fit it, less hassle. So I'll come back to you when I've made a bit more progress. I suppose I may as well film putting the bar on. So as you've seen, we've cleaned the threads out by working it in and out of the gun. Now, probably this would be easier to do with an assistant just to hold it in place. So you've got to remember, you've got your lock and washer first, and second is your spacing washer. Make sure you follow the instructions on the kit, very important. And try not to as well get that certificate dirty too much, because they are going to be becoming a requirement in MOTs and things like that. So try not to get that too dirty, as I'm just putting my dirty hand on it. So anyways, get that up in the line, get one in, or at least get it started. See what I mean? This is the point of doing what I've just done to clean the threads. because it took a lot of force to get these started. You're not damaging the threads, they're just clearly dirty from standing from when the car was new, you know. So now it just means you can manually wind these in by hand, and it just gives you, you know, a lot easier way of doing it. As a piece of metal has just stuck into my hand. I'll be back in a moment. A piece of metal decided to come through the glove into my hand, as per. So there we go, in place. All I'm going to do is nip them up. Obviously it states that they've got to be torqued up. I'm going to look up the right measurements. So all I'm going to do is just take these up onto a very light setting, just so it's in place. One thing I just want to check with this is underneath here is like a little bracket for the spare wheel holder, and I'm just confirming it's not, it almost touches it. It's a very good fit, this, I must admit, but it just misses it, which is good. So all I'm going to do is just give them one little blip, and this gun is super powerful, one of the best bits of kit we're ever getting this, the M18 Milwaukee red, take the red edition, the high torque edition, it's fantastic. Just going to nip them up, obviously do them in diagonals, it's always good practice. And that'll do for now, because it's just purely having it put into place. So there we go, one of the probably easiest tow bars you can fit, but you've got to fit these plates. I bet you some cowboy mechanics and DIYers, I bet you half the time these things go in the bin. But it's so important because now you're putting all the weight, what you're towing, through this bar, and what it's doing is, obviously this bar's bolted at the back of the chassis into the body, but what these do is it reinforces it so it evens out. So when this whole bar is what's towing your caravan or your trailer, this spreads out the weight around a bigger area, and that's what these like shims are for. They create like a much bigger area to pull on, so instead of it just pulling on the fixings it's on, you end off with, how many of these is that? 2, 4, 6, 8 points of pull rather than the 4 that's on there. So very important, always do it right, because if that trailer comes off or something and kills somebody, you're responsible. So make sure all the torque settings are done up correctly, which it gives you in the instructions, and that you do it obviously properly. So I'll come back to you when I fitted one of these plates. Right, quick update. I've had to drop the bumper, take a bumper carrier down, because to get, what you've got to do is through these holes, you've got to get these long shims as well as this plate through, which because of this having obviously a gap in the, like a section in the centre, it's going to make it impossible. So what we're going to be doing here is they go through into the plate like that. So I'll come back to you when I've got one side in place and show you what's been done. Right, I'm just going to have to do a quick walk around here because I've noticed the battery on my phone's dying. We're keeping the camera going. So that's more or less it, apart from the tow ball, which is over there, to go on. Once I'm going to do that once the bumper's in place. So it's got the thread strengthening shims through there. That's your tow bar fitted. We'll go underneath as best as I can and show. Obviously you can see there, it's where the 2 shims have gone through. I think you can just see through there. They're the bars, the strengthening shims. And underneath, oh, I want to get underneath here. You can see, that's the strengthening plate fitted in. Don't worry about that, it's purely just surface rust. It's absolutely solid under here, the edge of the car. So yeah, and across the other side there, you can see the plate. I'll just turn the light. You see it there in place. So, I mean, for now, I'll get back up. For now, it's just a case of reassembling everything back up, which if you watch my previous video, you'll see when I take the bumper off, it's only 4 nuts and bolts. So what I'll do is, I'll gradually get it built up. There's one bit I'll show you when I need to cut the little plate for the tow bar to go in, the plastic plate in the bumper, and I'll leave it at that, and I'll cut back into a short video later. Thanks. Right, welcome back to the final part of the video. I'm going to keep this short because it's actually mounted up to be quite a large video. So the bumper's back on. Went on as good as it came off. No problems. I had to make a cut in the bumper here. This is a hidden piece because there's a cover go over there, so it didn't really matter for that. I just need to get the towing electrics put onto the carrier, get the tow ball put on, and that's that done. And then the cover to go on. I'm really annoyed at myself with this. I had this marked up. Obviously I've had to cut it, and I had it marked up nicely, and the cutter slipped slightly and it just took that little corner off there. So I've gotten some touch-up pen, but to be quite honest, once it's on and in place and whatnot, you're not really going to be standing looking underneath the car, and the tow ball will be on there. So, and when you have a look, the whole back of the car is full of marks. There's a scrape there and there. So that's the whole point why I like this car. It's to have fun with. It's not a showpiece, which is me L200. I'm scared to take it anywhere because of, not me, because of the amount of idiots that are about in car parks and things like that. So when you've got a car like this, you keep it mechanically sound. If you've got a few little marks on it, who cares? So I am going to let that little bit of paint dry. I think I'll put that on, then put the tow bar on, and then we should be done. So I'm going to get the phone put on the tripod, and we'll start the process. I'll try and record most of it. Right, so just to explain what we're doing here. Like I've mentioned, this towing electrics plate is brilliant because it's already got the cutout. So what needs to happen here is I need to take them little nuts off, attach it to this, and then obviously that means when we bring it up to the tow bar, it's attached to that. And then obviously we'll put the tow ball on, which secures that in place. So that's basically what you've got to do, is just get that attached. I can't really, it's going to be too fiddly showing you. So once I've got it, all you do is just take them off. You can see there's little holes for them to go through and tighten it up. So once that's done, I'll cut back in. Right, so that's most of it fitted. As you can see, I mean, the car's obviously on a bit of a slant. Looks spot on with the cover back on. You know, there's not too much showing of it. Doesn't stick out that far. So obviously, as you've seen, I've attached the electrics on there. What I've done is inside of here, just put a little bit of the silicone grease in. It doesn't affect the connectivity or nothing. It just stops water or any kind of corrosion getting in there. I may get a cover to go over this and another better thing than that. It looks a bit rubbish. So yeah, just need to torque these up. Make sure you use the correct tightening torques, what you get in the instructions, and make sure you probably can't see them, the locking washers on the back of the nuts. And just a little bit of, what's the word, preventative things. If anything ever happens to this plug and you need to remove it, try to just cover your steps. So on the back of here, as you can see, I've used copper grease on those, I've used grease over those, and now that they're tightened, I'm going to put a bit of extra grease on them just to stop them from rusting, because these cheap little screws are terrible. Once they rot, bearing in mind you need to take them off to get to the wires in here if you ever need to change the plug. So obviously keep the heads of them screws. I'm going to spray a bit of spray grease onto them, a bit at the back, a bit onto the threads on the back of here, and even the tow bar. It's just clear grease, silicone grease. I've just rubbed it with my finger on it, just to give it an extra couple of years before it's certainly not going to rust through because that's solid chunk of steel, that. But still, just to keep the paint nice, keep it looking more kind of presentable, you know. And obviously, you know, you've got your, what do you call it, your breakaway contact there. So, that's the end of the video. I'm not going to go on too much more. You've seen how it's all done. It's just I just thought I would just record what I do. You may not find it interesting, but of course every day is different. Not every day I have a fancy car in or a big job to do. And what I tend to find is customers' jobs, I can't really record them because we just like to get the car in and out to get the next one on the lift and get sorted to get home. So there you go. I'll leave it at that, and I'll catch you next time. If you like it, leave a comment, like, subscribe, leave a comment below. Remember, I don't get paid for this. I do this in my free time. I just purely do this to help other people who are considering doing the same kind of things, or just to provide a mild level of entertainment, just something for you to watch. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.